talk about Outlander since the show season 2 just finished. All right, girls, how did you hear about Outlander?
My mother. She convinced me to read it after me resisting for a long time. But I read it. The first one, anyway.
What made you resist?
I'm just have just a long reading list, so just like to push that one ahead of the other ones. It was so big deal.
I have a mother who does that to me too, with 20 books at a time.
I just heard it from you guys. I've never read the book, never seen the show. Not really interested, but...
Well, maybe we will get you interested now. Okay, so I did not read the books, but I've only watched the show. I have the first book on my TBR, but I'm not sure if I'm going to get to it, so... Sarah?
I think they did pretty well, the book to the show, since it's a show, so you could do a lot more with that. You have more time. But it was very hard to get into for me, just because it's like...
The books or the show?
Both.
Both of them? Okay.
Kind of. I skipped around a lot in the show. I don't know.
Okay.
It's just not enough excitement for me. I don't know why. I like things that are dull too, but it's just...
Well,
I don't know.
You said that you've only watched season 1 so far?
Yeah, I'm going to watch season 2
So that was like
soon.
a lot of building, like,
that is true.
Know, her conversion.
And it wasn't a huge... I mean, it was a huge time travel, but it wasn't in a way, because she was from the 1940s, so it was hard for me to relate in a way, I guess. You know, and then going back there, it's like, oh, I have all this new stuff. It's not really technology like they had, it's still 1940s. So that was my... I don't know.
Like, she didn't jump
So
far.
you didn't...
She jumped into the 1800s.
200 years.
Yeah.
She jumps 200 years.
It was still a big deal, but I'm still going to give it more time, because they say it gets better as you keep reading. So there's like, 10 to 17 books? There's a lot of books. I don't remember exactly how many, but there's a lot.
So I absolutely was on board when I heard about it. I saw the commercial and was definitely excited to watch it.
I do love all the costume design and stuff. It's really... They did a good job with that.
She had me watch the first episode, and I just really was bored, I guess. It just really didn't hook me in, and I honestly don't remember much. That's how...
The only thing that kept me going is her yummy, like, Scottish boy.
Yes, Jamie, hello!
Yes, that did help a lot, because he's very yummy, yes.
For a redhead.
We do a lot of sex scenes, so I kind of skipped over that a little bit.
Yeah.
Sometimes,
there was some stuff I skipped over. It didn't really bother me, though.
If I can
handle Game of Thrones, then I can...
Yeah. Game of Thrones is worse. It's like...
Yeah. That was, like, all lovely and romantic and, you know...
I know, it's just like...
I mean, you do feel like a peeping Tom, so I did fast forward a little bit. Because I don't like watching other people do their thing.
Yeah. It's like, I get it, they like to have sex, so, you know.
Yeah.
I wasn't offended by it or anything.
No, but there was a big...
I get it.
But in the first season, there's a big chunk where they don't because she's not with him.
Oh, yeah.
And she's not with her husband.
But I didn't like her husband anyway, so... They did that on purpose, though, in the book. Like, he's okay, he loves her, but he's like... You can tell that he's not really her true love, like, until she meets Jamie.
Right.
So, they did that on purpose. He wasn't a horrible guy, but... The only thing
they drifted apart, like, the whole point...
And she couldn't have kids with him. Like... That's in the book anyway. She couldn't have kids with him, her husband, for some reason. And he was like, well, she's like, what if we adopt? He's like, no, I don't want to adopt. You get all mad at him.
Oh, really?
So, that's the only thing that made you kind of not like him, which wasn't a huge deal, but...
That would kind of piss me off if I was reading the book. Thanks for that.
Thanks
for that spoiler.
But that was in the first book, so...
That's okay.
Something they put in the movie, but it's just like... It just shows that she has to be with Jamie. It was destined for her to...
I definitely like Jamie from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like, I was hoping that would be him. I didn't really know much about the story, much about the characters. I just knew that she goes back in time. So in the book, Claire finds herself 200 years in the past. So here she is from the 1940s. So technically it's sort of she would be like an old lady right now, but, you know, she's only one generation almost away from us, maybe two. 2 generations away from us. And, so if you could go back in time... Huh?
Not that old, like in her late 70s.
I know,
like
but...
Old. No,
we're in the 21st century, and that was 20th.
Offend some of our viewers, you know?
No, wait.
I don't consider myself old.
How old is she in the 40s?
She's in her 20s.
No, she's like her early 30s. In the book, it's
30s. She probably wouldn't be like...
Jamie's
like
26.
He's in his 20s, and she's like 10 years.
She like tells her how old she is later when she finds out that she...
That's right.
When she tells him what happened. And he's like... To them, that'd
she's
be middle
like
age.
30 so. She's like early 30s, but you know,
but she looks younger.
World War II literally just finished.
If she was
so
alive,
it's in the 40s.
She was in almost 100.
And she's like a healer in that world because she was
110 right now.
Yeah, about. If she was 35 in the 40s.
Oh, you're right. I was just thinking born in the 40s. Yeah, okay.
She wouldn't be alive right now.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's like 3 generations above us.
I don't have blonde hair, but I had blonde mom and dad. So I take it back. She was an old lady. She was
she's an old lady right now, pushing 110. But if you could go back right now at this age, back in time, what era would you go to and why?
Oh God!
In real life, okay? Not in book life.
I just had this
hard
discussion.
because women have a hard time back then.
Not even that aspect.
Unless you're in royalty.
Not even that aspect. I just had this conversation with somebody. I could not go without plumbing. Like, go back to the Renaissance. Like, I could not go back. I could not have no plumbing.
You better have your pocket full of posies.
No, I could not. But if that wasn't an issue, I'd probably go back to about that time. Just because I really like the culture. Like, their
clothes.
Yeah.
Just for the clothes.
I would
people wear that every day and not look at weird looks.
Yeah. I would go like 100 years ago, maybe.
Like,
I would either go 100 years ago after plumbing started.
Go to the 20s. You know, that's where you would go.
Yeah, 100 years ago.
Oh God.
Yes, I would be in the 20s, and I would date some monsters.
It just depends on your status, though, where you go, though. Like, if you're, like...
Am I going to be poor or rich?
I would either be in England. I would be in England, or I would be in the United States. No, I would be in the United States. The
just
Roaring
depending
20s,
what area
right
you
before...
go and your status, they could kill you for no reason at all if you're just, like, a peasant or whatever. It's a risky thing.
No, because
unless you have a doctor with you, then it's okay.
No. I would put some money in some stocks of some stuff that I know is still around today, and I would be booming, and I would definitely sell it all right before, the Dust Bowl and all that, the Great Depression, because I know it's going to happen. Or I would go, where would I also go? I would go to Elizabethan England. Queen Elizabeth I.
Mm-hmm.
I would want to see Shakespeare live. I don't care if I'm in the peasant floor. And I would just, during the golden ages of Elizabeth. You're not amused?
No, that's what Doctor tried to get hers, remember? Or was it the second one? No. Anyway. I'm going to not talk.
Where would you go? You didn't say. Did you say?
I don't know. As I said, it's a risky thing, depending where...
Say you were in high class.
You have to go back in time, or can you go forward in time?
You can be whatever you want. Nobody's going to know what you are.
I don't know. That's a difficult thing. I don't know.
Come on, Sarah.
I really don't know. I like the Renaissance era, too, but it's a risky thing.
It is.
You could either die from just barely getting there, or, especially being a woman, too.
All right, so that's a good point.
If we could just, time travel back and forth, real quick, I could go anywhere.
We need our doctor.
Well, yeah, I would use... Yeah, if you can go back and forth, I would go every era, every time.
We need to be a companion.
No worries about the plumbing.
Okay, so Claire was a World War II nurse, okay, and she loved to study plants, and she also was raised by an archaeologist, her uncle who's an archaeologist. Yeah. So she had, some background in history, and she roughed it, I guess. That's kind of what they're trying to say with that. And she, so she had medical background and, not as advanced as we are today, but definitely advanced from 200 years before her. And the study of plants was very convenient because that was the only way she's going to get, medicinal, stuff, because there's no penicillin at that time, or at least they don't know about it up there in those highlands. So what skills do you have that would be useful so you don't die?
Crap, I have nothing.
I can read.
I know. I'm going to die.
But you can't read
You can't read Old English?
No, I know.
I can read some Old English, because...
I go to the wrong time, dang it, Latin!
Oh, no. That's right. I don't know Latin. I'm going to die. We's dead.
Yeah.
We 3 all dead.
I mean, I have pretty good, outdoor survival skills. I can...
You can go camping?
I can camp.
I know, I hate camping,
But not even just camping. I can build shelter.
My rougher name is that Wi-Fi. So.
Catch
me
my
clamping
my food.
That's
probably about it.
I mean, I'm okay with eating wild animals, but I've never hunted them.
Yeah, I couldn't hunt them and skin them myself. I have cousins.
Oh my gosh,
that,
I know. I thought about that, and I was like, I haven't done that.
Well, let's always think about if the world was going to end, who would
yeah,
I go
we're
to
so screwed.
that has skills?
We're so screwed when the world ends, and we're left here because we don't have
you just
any
need to
survival skills.
Find some family that you know, or some friends that have skills, and then go to them.
Yeah.
Like my family, you know, they have all that kind of skill.
But you have to get there.
I know.
If there's no electricity,
a long journey.
no airplanes, no cars, we're dead. So yeah, but you know what? I kind of know how to ride a horse, so I can travel a little bit faster than on my feet.
Unless it's a zombie apocalypse, and we're screwed.
Yeah, you don't want that. Carry around the giant hunk.
All right, so make a saddle. I can sew with a needle and thread, so I can make.
I can crochet.
Stuff.
I can make clothes.
Yeah, we'll be warm. We can't eat it though. Okay. So Claire has to marry Jamie for protection, even though she's married. So she's married. She goes back in time, and then in order to get protection from this horrible man who's actually her husband's ancestor, she has to marry Jamie.
Her excuse was, her husband's not really born yet, so technically she's not cheating.
Yeah, she's not cheating, but, you know.
But she is.
Okay, so choice, would you get married if you went back in time? Would you marry somebody else for survival?
You kind of have to. It'd be hard though, because especially if you were still really in love with your husband. Like,
well, she could have said
putting
no.
yourself in hurts too. It'd be difficult, but otherwise she would die though. They said that if you don't do it, that the guy's going to come and you're going to die. You have no choice. So.
But how did she, like, honestly, when it happened, I was like, how do you know that's really going to stop him?
But at the same time, Jamie said, though, like, later on, that we could renounce the marriage later on when you're safe.
You can get married to him but not be doing anything.
Oh, they did.
Well, you have to consummate the marriage back then. Like
True.
Now it's like, oh, you know, if you get married and you don't do anything, nobody's going to be like, you're not married.
Well, that's what they said. They were all basically listening to make sure she did. They wouldn't leave, like, the downstairs there until she did.
They were in the house waiting.
True.
Well.
But he was sweet. They talked about it beforehand until she was comfortable, and so he's a good guy.
Yeah, he's super hot.
It sounded like he was a good guy.
He's sweet, and he's hot, and he's definitely, like, one of those male characters that you just swoon
Except that it was
over.
awkward though in the book because it was his first time. He was
old
and he would never do
that.
it before.
I don't know if that was. Yeah, right.
So she has to show him what to do. It's like, I'm not that good either.
Would you try to return home? She has a chance to return home. Would you return home? Knowing that she's fallen in love with Jamie, and you're Claire, you fall in love with Jamie, but he gives you the opportunity to go back home.
If I'm in her, like, she was, like, married to the guy that she's really married to, or married to the one I am married to in real life. How would that, is that what you're putting?
Yeah. Well, you're you.
So.
You go back in time.
I would go back then, even if I was still with the other guy, because I was first in love with him, but knowing her guy, he's a jerk, so I don't care. But, but yeah, my own husband, yes, I would go back. Yeah.
Would you tell him?
Yeah, well, yeah, I would have to. But then if he divorced me for doing that, then I would try
to go back.
But
what about you?
Hopefully he'd be understanding, like I had no choice.
I'd probably come back because I want that toilet and the plumbing.
Yes.
The shower.
Yeah, they do have to, like, do the tub with the hot water and all that.
Yeah. There was a lot of times she went with weeks almost because she got thinking about she had no choice.
No
so she
choice.
went like the river and stuff to clean up.
Yeah,
awful. Peeing in the bushes and all that. Ugh.
Okay. So, are you gonna keep watching, or are you like you've heard a little bit about it? Are you interested in possibly watching or maybe reading the book?
Maybe like on my to-watch list, but I have so much other stuff. It's not something that's gonna become a priority.
Until Netflix picks it up.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Well, it might pick it up soon. I have the VHS. Just kidding. There's no VHS. I have the DVD.
It's like we banished that from our house.
You don't have any VHSs?
Oh no. I
have both. What about you? Are you gonna follow up on the book?
I'm gonna probably continue. It'll just take a while. I'm gonna work on my Dark Hunter series first because that's more interesting.
Yeah. I'm definitely not sure if I'm gonna read the book. I'm not sure if I want to. Like, I've sort of read some spoiler stuff ahead for this one about like what happens in the future, and the story definitely changes up a lot. But I'm not sure if I'm gonna read it. I kind of like just watching it and not knowing.
Mm-hmm.
Probably will not. But so this show kind of is about time travel. You guys have any books that you're interested in reading or have read that talks about time travel?
I have one that's ish. It's sort of time travel. It takes place as the author like writing a book on her computer, and that's some Western book, and she falls asleep on her computer, and then lightning strikes her computer, and she wakes up and she's in her book, and she gets kidnapped by the villain in her book.
What book is that?
It's called When Lightning Strikes.
That sounds cool.
By Kristin. It was like by happenstance I found the book on my grandmother's shelf, and I was like bored, so I just read it, and it was actually really good.
Nice.
Yeah. But she ended up falling in love with the villain in her book, not the hero. So she has to find her way back and all that. It's really good.
I like that. Unless it's Captain Jack. Like, no. He's so terrible.
It's like a Western book, so he's like one of those Western
And I wish you guys had seen all the way to the end so we could talk about the ending of this series, because it was a little traumatizing, and I'm really worried about if I'm going to be able to watch Dark Hunters.
Captain Jack is so redundant and everything. Like, there's no more names for Captain than Jack.
I don't know.
Sorry, this is a random
His
thought.
name is Jack. I keep calling him Jack Black, but it's not. It's Jack Randall. Oops. I hope I didn't say that earlier.
I didn't hear it.
I actually didn't have, surprisingly, all the books that I've read and all the books I have on my to-read, there's really nothing that's, like, based around time travel, which just happened to be that way. I guess I'm not a huge fan of time travel. But I was looking at some books, and there is a book called 15 Minutes by Joe Cooper that sounded a little interesting to me. So I'm going to probably look into that, put that on my list to read soon. So, what about you?
Yeah, I didn't have very many time travel on my read list. There's a couple of books in the Dark Hunter / Were Hunter series that talks about where they do time travel, because there's these creatures called Were Hunters, and they're part of the Dark Hunter world, and they do have the ability to time travel back and forth. But that one, it was definitely, I thought of Ren. He's one of my favorite Were Hunters, and he time travels back in time a lot in his story. It's not just something that happens really quickly. It's very important to his story, the time travel. So, and that's one of my favorite Were Hunter books. So that one.
Don't forget to like and favorite our video and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching. Bye.